Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental, the Dental Road Warrior, returning for episode 29 of the series. I promised I'd get this one out with this topic, so I'm going to do it. Please forgive me. I have a tendency to rant and rave when it comes to this topic. It's a topic that really pushes my buttons. It should upset you as much as it upsets me, only because I have the facts and the data that I'm going to share a little bit about with you. Just bear with me. This might be a little longer. I usually, when I do these rants in front of an audience, it takes me about a half an hour, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as I possibly can for this video. Anyway, let's talk about insurance. All right, the famous insurance. Let's comprehend a few statistics about insurance, for example. Right, the U.S. insurance industry has been averaging about $30 billion a year in revenue. $30 billion. Okay, for the last 10 years. How's that for a productive trend, right? 10 years straight, right? And about over $1 trillion, with a T, $1 trillion a year are spent in insurance premiums. And of course, we're getting all kinds of great, phenomenal coverage back because of that, right? That $1 trillion we're spending. You figured we'd be the healthiest nation in the entire world for the money we spend on insurance, because obviously insurance companies, the reason why they came into existence was for the overall health and well-being of society, correct? That would be incorrect. Well, you know, they came into being because of money, all right? That's what they do. And just so you know, they're so good at it that the insurance industry right now has about 3.8 trillion, with a T, assets right now. They hold about $3 trillion in assets, right? 3.8 trillion. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the gross domestic product than every country on this planet, except for two, the U.S. and Japan. All right, and the average CEO makes nearly $9 million a year. $9 million a year in salary. So where's all this money coming from? Where it's coming from is you, because the way insurance companies work is they take your money and they make money on your money while not paying you your money. That's what they do. All right, you're dealing with basically corrupt organizations. There, I said it. I'm sure there are people that are watching this series right now flipping out because they have people that work for insurance companies. I hate to break the news to you, but right along there with pharmaceuticals, this industry is one of the most, they pay one of the biggest federal fines every year for violations because they do criminal activity. All right, they screw with you. That's what they do. All right, and that's how they make money. They don't make this kind of money by making sure they spend out more in coverage for their patients or their clientele and to pay you as doctors. They don't do that. They come up with all kinds of creative ways to screw you over. That's where Pre-Ds came into existence. The famous Pre-D, remember that? This didn't exist several years ago. It was a brilliant idea. This came into existence because some smart young guy working for an insurance company said, here's a really great way to screw people over and make us not give them their money, is that we're going to convince everybody, our clientele and them, and put these stipulations that the average, you're going to have to wait 6 to 8 weeks before you get a guarantee, an approval, which with no guarantee. You ever read that? That card, basically it's a 6 to 8 week waiting period to get your Pre-D back with no guarantee of coverage anyway. So why the hell are we doing? All right, but we go into this trap because they've done the research on this. They're not dumb. They know that people buy emotionally and they justify by logic later on. So even if they have a health condition. So what they'll do is that we put these people into a holding pattern while we wait to hear back from the insurance company to get the big thumbs up with no guarantee anyway, that they're going to cover what they're going to cover. All right, and and what happens is people don't come back into the treatment. And you might say some do, but you know what the national average is? By the way, for every 10 Pre-Ds you get back from an insurance company that says thumbs up with no guarantee, we'll cover it, right? For every 10 you get back, the national average of the people that will actually get back to the dentist and get their treatment done is 3. Think about that, 3. 30% of your patients actually come back, return, go through the treatment, right? You might be saying, well, it's not that bad in my office. I get 5 and 10 back or whatever. That still sucks. It's terrible. 50% of your patients still walking around with disease because the insurance company screwed with their head, all right, and screwed with them. And they lost the motivation to go through. We don't follow up, and it piles up on our end. It was a scam. And we fell into the trap. We buy into these scams all the time. You have to learn how to play the insurance game better. If you're going to be involved in insurance, you got to play it better, because they've done research on this. They're ahead of the game here. They got us. They sucker you in. What do? Oh, come on, you got to get in our magic book. Get in the magic book, and new patients will flood through the doors if you get on these plans. And we believe, because as dentists, we're not really great marketers, we are going to basically save money on marketing by getting involved with insurance companies. Let's take a look at that for a second. So we get involved in the magic book, and now we have all these write-offs. Go take a look at your write-offs. Maybe you don't like to look at that number. How much do you write off in insurance every year? Because we have to take these reduced fees we have to take because we participate to get in the magic book. All right, how much are we writing off every single year? Some of us is writing off a small practice. It could be 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 or more that we're writing off. And that's our marketing budget. You never looked at it that way. Why do we do it? We get on it because we want to get more new patients. Patients will come to us because we're in the book. So just go look at your new patient numbers and see if it's worth it. So if you wrote off $250,000 last year, was it worth to spend or to give away that $250,000 for the number of new patients you got? Just do the math. Divide how many new patients you got last year from the insurance book, divide it into your write-offs, and see how much it cost you per patient acquisition right there. Just so you know, the average cost of patient acquisition out there is about $250 to $300 a head. So if you're going to market people on your own without going through insurance, direct marketing, it costs you about that much to get them to come in the door, right? So, but again, you don't know what to do, so you go to the insurance company. So that's our marketing budget. But we don't look at it that way. If I come into your office and I say, hey, look, I'm a marketing company for dentists. I'm going to market you to get you, 20 new patients a month, but you're gonna pay me, write me a check now for $250,000. You'd laugh me out of the office. But we do this all the time without thinking about it, by getting on these plans, right? And it doesn't serve anybody, but it's a trap. We have to play this game because we don't know what else to do. All right, now look, if you're already involved in insurance, it's very hard. You can't go back tomorrow, all of a sudden pull the plug on an insurance company because you have mass exodus and mass hysteria as everybody leaves the office. You can't do that. You have to be strategic about it. There's a way that we teach people to get out of insurance plans in a strategic way. There's a way to do things internally, not to play into their games, to do your own pre-Ds ahead of time. You know what these plans are going to cover historically. Don't fall into their trap. Don't let the delay happen where you're going to have to wait to hear back from them. Go ahead. You know what you need to do. All right. There are very few that are going to really penalize you for doing that because, like I said before, there's no guarantee here with that. So get smart about that. Right? Educate your patients about the evils of insurance. Right? And that it's not carte blanche. It doesn't cover everything. These people come in with these cards, they whip out their insurance cards. Here, put it on my card. It's not a credit card. It doesn't insure them from anything. It's a gift card. This is what I teach my clients to tell their patients. It's a gift card. Oh, I see you have a $1,000 gift card to Aetna. Good for you. I mean, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, think about it for a second. We know how much is the average coverage going to be that they're going to get from an insurance company if they're lucky. $1,000 a year, $1,500 a year, and when's the last time that changed? Barely covers anything right now. That was good 20 years ago, maybe, but now look at the cost of dentistry. What's that going to really cover? Right? And then we get into the additional trap that we're going to do whatever the insurance will cover and allow us to do per year, even if the patient needs more, because we don't want to deal with confronting people and talking to them about money, whether they have to pay out of their pocket. All right? So you have to teach them this is a gift card. That's how it works. It's like once it's used up, whether you use it on this visit or 3 or 4 visits, it's gone. And it doesn't replenish maybe until next year. But your health is still there and it still needs to be treated. All right, so you have to teach them this. It doesn't work that way. And there's many things that I go over in terms of teaching my clients and how to teach their patients and how to get them to change their head about insurance. Because again, it's a losing proposition in the end. It really is. And again, if you're going to be a clinic and you're going to deal with be on 500 plans and see 1,000 patients a week or whatever you see, fine. You want to do that volume game. That's you. You're a DSO, dental service organization. Be that way. Fine. Eastern Dental, American Dental, do that. There's a niche for that. But if you're going to try to make it as a solo dentist in this solo practitioner in this field, whatever, you really got to be smarter and more creative in how you do insurance. We're teaching a lot right now about having in-house insurance. Another big thing to get away from insurances, because you should have this option. It's really or a membership plan. If you don't want to call it insurance, you really can't call it. You open your own insurance plan, but you have you create an in-house plan which they can buy, from you. And the great thing about that plan is that discount plan. It only works in your office, and they can't go anywhere else. So it works out fantastically well. When it covers so many cleanings per year for them and their family, and basically it'll give them up to 20% on all future dentistry. You're still ahead of the game. So you're saying you're writing off 20%. But you're still getting 80% coverage on things. When's the last time you got an insurance company that gave covered 80% of something? All right, so these in-house plans, and there's ways to do these. There's templates that have been created. You just have to know how basically to implement them, how to sell them. and utilize them in the office. It's a great thing if you're a fee-for-service practice. It's a great practice. It's a great thing for people who are losing their insurance, who are getting off, they're thinking about getting out insurance, they're on a DMO, and they're not getting much of anything, all right? Because I said, remember, the whole system's rigged not to pay you, all right? And it's never going to change. And does the insurance get better or worse every year, right? It gets worse. It's not getting any better, right? And if your long-term financial security and success is in the hands of an insurance company, again, criminal operations that are ripping you off all the time, right? The U.S. Postal Service only fails to operate, for the insurance companies. How many times do they lose things digitally, lose things in the mail? They ask you to resubmit things. It's an entire game that's been rigged against you, all right? You got to get that, all right? And if you're playing their game, it's a losing proposition, and nobody wins. Okay, who wins this game? The insurance company wins the game, actually, because you know what? You stay poor, your patients stay sick, and they stay rich, filthy rich. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to make money. By all means, make money, right? But they're not doing it honestly and ethically, and they're selling their clientele and you a bill of goods. So you got to get smarter about this kind of thing, because as I said, long term, it's going to do you in. Right? And I don't want to scare you about this kind of thing, but again, this idea of insurance, that they have our back and they're taking care of us and our patients is just absolutely ridiculous, right? So again, I could go on and on about insurance, but this is little insights and things that I like to talk about it's a wake-up call when it comes to insurance. Right, so go back and see what you're doing right now with insurance, reevaluate, reassess, take it on a different way, get some help from somebody to navigate you through this whole kind of thing, and don't be at the mercy of them. Okay, we are the good guys. Remember that. We're doing the good work for people. We are taking care of people. We deserve to get paid, for what we do, and not be at the mercy of these people that are just taking us for a ride. All right, so it's a little long one today, but I think it was well worth it to go along. As I said before, I'll probably end this video and think of another 10 minutes of ranting and go on insurance companies, but this has been hopefully helpful and insightful to you. So I'll be back before you know it with the historic number 30 in the series. Hope this was useful to you, enjoyable. Again, if you enjoyed watching it, please share this video, and I'll be back shortly with another one.